I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Burntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I uncover the blasphemous truth of a plague-ridden world, that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Burntwine, coming January 2nd, wherever podcasts are available.
Hey friends! Today's episode of Buffering the Vampire Slayer was recorded in front of a live audience at A Camp in Mukwonago, Wisconsin.
We had an array of guests, some invited and some not.
Some crashers.
Yes, some crashers, some not, but we are very excited to get the chance to talk to Kate Leth, who you know and love, Heather Hogan, senior editor at Autostraddle,
Who you're about to love.
Elle Sanchez, a comedian based out of Seattle,
Who is amazing.
and Gaby Dunn, who no matter
can't be stopped.
no matter where we go, she finds us. That Gaby
She's
Dunn.
all grappling hooks and camouflage, you know.
She is. Truly. If you want to learn more about A Camp, you can go on over to a-camp.org. It is a beautiful, beautiful place with beautiful, beautiful people. And if you were in our audience, thank you so much for being there. We had a great time with you.
And without further ado, here is the episode. Hooray! Okay, we're going to start recording now, so if you all could pretend like you're just seeing us for the first time and you're very excited about it, make some noise, that would be helpful for the vibe.
Ready, go.
Hello, and welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we are watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one at a time. I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I am Kristen Russo, and this week we're talking about Season 2, Episode 18, Killed by Death. And we're doing that, where, Jenny?
Live at A Camp.
Yeah! Stay tuned at the end of this podcast every week for an original song written by us, recapping the Buffy episode we are discussing.
Killed by Death was written by Rob Deshotel and Dean Batali, directed by Darren Serafian, and aired originally on March 3rd, 1998.
A table mic really does something to you. You know what I mean? This is the one where, while hospitalized with a severe case of the flu, Buffy battles a demon that sucks the life out of sick children.
This is also the one where it's just Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, which is exactly where I would like to start. I've written up some notes, as I always do, but these notes are specific because I've circled every time I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is literally Freddy Krueger. Okay, let's start at the beginning. First of all, we have Freddy Krueger. He comes at night. The grown-ups don't see him. He was with Tina. Now, I don't know how many of you are experts in Nightmare on Elm Street, but Tina is the first kill in Nightmare on Elm Street, the very first one. Not only is Tina the first person who gets killed by Freddy Krueger, but Tina is dragged down the hallway as a bloody Tina.
By an invisible force.
By an invisible Freddy, just like then at the end, in the middle, whatever, Dr. Backer is... First of all, Dr. Backer, how does he die? How does death kill Dr. Backer? 4 slashes? Like Freddy Krueger's hand? Maybe a little bit, and then is dragged down the hallway, just like Tina. And then at the end, in the basement, first of all, it's like a drippy basement, very horror movie, but also like very Freddy Krueger. And we see this monster who's like death but Freddy walking down in a shadow, and that's like a classic scene from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you know what I think might have happened here?
What happened?
Do you remember in Phases how they spent a lot of money on the like morphing technology to shift Oz from human to werewolf form and back?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh shit, we forgot a werewolf costume. Somebody run to Party City and get the cheapest one they have. I think maybe while that person was at Party City, they were like, oh, look at this off-brand Freddy Krueger knockoff burned scary finger man costume. And they just picked that up. And they were like, do you think we could use this for something in the future? And then they wrote this episode.
Yeah, I think you're right. The creators of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, big shoppers at Party City.
They love Party City.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, this whole episode, the whole thing, kids, whatever.
We'll talk more about it.
That was my whole manifesto.
Not even the fingers down the wet basement?
I said in the basement, the fingers, the shadows, the whole.
Okay.
That was my full manifesto. I mean,
sometimes I stop listening to you. I don't know why.
Sometimes she stops listening to me. We have that recorded now. Everyone knows the truth. Sometimes my wife stops listening to me.
So you know that thing where like you have the flu, but you have like a sacred duty that you have to fulfill that is both secret and vital to the protection of your neighborhood and town.
I know.
Humanity. You know how it is.
I know how it is.
You can't stop patrolling for vampires just because you have a virus.
I agree. Actually, I'm going to tell you all something. I really identify with Buffy in this episode, especially today. Nobody panic. I'm fine. But to prepare for this live taping, I decided to get ill yesterday and go to the emergency room where I was last night. This is a real story. Look, I started by saying I'm fine.
She's fine.
I'm here. I'm making jokes.
She's really committed to method podcasting.
You're fine. But I kept my hospital bracelet on to prove that, and just like Buffy, I was like, well, I must co-direct a camp. And I must do a podcast. Yeah, so here I am. But I just thought it was really big of me to do.
You remind me of someone right now. Who is it?
I think it's...
Who could it be?
Maybe just Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
No, well, I was going to say Cordelia.
Oh.
It's really big of me. Is the start of most of Cordelia's
That's
sentences.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Don't get used to it.
So anyhow, we start this episode with the Scoobies on patrol, which I love. They're like backing up for Buffy, They're like, don't worry, we've got this. They probably don't have it on their own.
No, they've got like a real Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello kind of vibe.
The vampire comes out and they're like, yeah. For the listener, you know what I did, right? By that noise, if you couldn't see me, it was okay, good.
2 fingers poking forward, eye distance apart.
Right. Yeah, and then fucking Angel. Come on.
With the timing
and the lines. And his lines. This does not look good for our heroine. Like... He's evil Angel. So he comes in, there's a fight. Buffy is very flued, but this...
Flued.
Yeah, that's a verb, right? No, what would that be? Adjective? Flued. I'm flued. Yes, Buffy's very flued, but she still wins the fight because the Scoobies help her. It's great.
It really is great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about flued. Sometimes I keep listening to the thing you said a while ago.
Great, fantastic.
So it all balances out is my point.
It does, so fine. So they win the fight. Angel is, not defeated, but like knocked down. So then we go to the hospital. And I think what's really important about the fact that we're at the hospital is that we have Kate Leth here with us. And the fashion in a hospital is just, I don't know, Jenny, don't you think it's just remarkable?
What the Scoobies are wearing, or just like scrubs?
Just just like hospital garb.
Feeling it.
Yeah. So you all know Kate Leth from the Fashion Watch of Buffering the Vampire Slayer. But you probably also know Kate Leth from like 8 million other things, including being here at A Camp and so cold all the time. Kate Leth, will you join us?
Please. Yay.
Well, hello.
Hi, Kate.
Hello. Hey, how's everybody? Jeez, hi. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad. The feedback is nice.
My dreams are coming true right now.
Yeah, I feel really great about
At
this.
A Camp with Kate, talking about Buffy. This is great.
Yeah, I've had a lot of dreams that start like this, so it's cool.
But just like a little bit warmer.
Yeah, definitely.
So Kate,
Yes.
we gave you an episode just rife with fashion, I think.
Yes. I did want to say one thing before I start and get into the fashion, because I am going to get into the fashion in detail. I find this so funny, the fact that this is this Nightmare on Elm Street thing, because I just recently started working in TV. No need to brag, but I do it. And it is really funny because I've only been in writers' rooms for a couple of months, but there are absolutely days where every I'm not going to say it's always the guys, but it's always the guys, is like, you know what we should do is a Die Hard episode. So I believe with all of my heart that there was a day where they were like, you know what we should do is just Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, I'm tired. I'm going on vacation next weekend. Let's just do that movie as an episode. Anyway.
And not even like pull the deep cuts, just like go right for the biggest plot lines.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Biggest character names.
But yes, the fashion. So I was worried about this episode because when I do my Buffy rewatches, I actually skip this one usually, just because it's not like a traditional Buffy episode, you know.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's sort of shoehorned in with the her relationship that you've never heard about before that exists only for this episode and then is never talked about again. And also because when I was a kid, that monster creeped the hell out of me. Those eyes are still really uncomfortable.
This is one of the, like, if I rank the monsters, at least that I remember from my first watch through, this is one of the ones that is up in the top of
This
scary.
is like they were trying out a monster that shows up in season 4, but doing it bad.
Exactly.
I didn't know if I don't know if I should say it.
That's my top monster.
Yeah.
That unnamed monster. I want somebody out here sent us an email. I'm not going to read the email. Don't panic. But somebody in the audience at A-Camp sent us an email that was in a full panic. It was like 5 days before A-Camp, and they were like, listen, my girlfriend is watching, but she's not caught up, and I need to know what episode you're watching. I've given her cliff notes, and I've made her a video reel of all of the important points, and I want to make sure that you don't. So Ken, even it's a secret I won't tell, I promise. So I just really appreciated whoever you are out there, your commitment.
That's really sweet.
Shout out to you. We were like, we're watching Killed by Death. We appreciate all of your commitment to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Anyway, Kate, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's absolutely fine. I do want to say that so I was worried about this episode because I didn't really remember it, and I didn't remember anything distinct about it or specific. But then, upon watching, got to relive an episode wherein Cordelia wears 3 distinct sweater sets. Three different ones. There's a pale green one in the beginning. There's the blue one she wears for the majority of the episode, which does just wonders for her. And then she has like the very mom one that she wears in the latter half, which is sort of white piping with, I think it's navy.
Yes.
It's hard to tell on the projector. And then she's got that sort of like sunshine, almost lemon yellow skirt that she's got on. It's the same outfit 3 times.
But just in
different colors. And in the first one, she has a very practical jacket on, which I found very like strange for Cordelia.
Especially also for her trip to the hospital.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's very odd. There's a lot of like 3s in this episode, and I don't know if it's I want to say it's to tie into the fairy tale theme of 3s, but I don't think they were probably that smart about it. But let's pretend. So I've talked on the podcast before about how they always put Willow in geometric shapes, straight lines, and children's jewelry to age her down, and also to try and make Allison Hannigan unsexy, which is impossible.
Yeah. Agree.
But they really work at it. So she's got this one that I remember noticing it the first time when I watched the Puppet Show. And she has that one that's a straight line, and it's the ones that you made in school that are like the daisy chains, you know? Yeah. So we were watching it, and then she's got one in the beginning where it's a hanging pendant of a daisy. Then a little further on, she's got one that's like specific daisies with a single bead link in between it. And I wrote down like, oh man, she has 2 different daisy chains. But then in the back half of the episode, she wears the classic daisy chain. So it comes full circle. And I was just like, man. And she also has like at least 2 different hairstyles in this episode, which is unusual for Willow.
I feel like there's like some kind of Willow bingo that's in here, you know, like geometric shapes, children's jewelry, braids, you know, like how many can you get per episode?
Or a drinking game.
Or a drinking game, yes.
I do want to say something controversial, and I hope that you won't judge me for it. I know. I actually liked something Xander wore in this episode.
Go on.
And oh my gosh, I think I know what it might be.
I didn't even write it down because I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so ashamed.
Didn't want to leave a paper trail.
Like, you may have heard me hissing when he was on screen. It's fine.
Or it may have heard Elle groaning silently every time Xander.
What's wild is I feel like this is the episode in the series up to this point where he's been like the most inoffensive.
Yeah, but we are also at A-Camp.
Yeah.
So they cancel each other out.
I get it.
Yeah.
So what's the outfit?
And I'm trying to remember exactly when it is in the episode, but you will remember because you were just here. But it's the one. It's sort of like a geometric one, and it's like black or navy, and then white, and it has the sort of diamondy shapes across it. It just looked so cozy, and I think it might also be because I've been freezing for several days. But I was like, I want that. Like, that looks good because I want to be in it, you know?
Yeah.
He might not have actually even been wearing it. You're just like hallucinating sweaters everywhere.
Man. I wish I had something made of alpaca. It was very good.
But Kate, I had a fashion question for you.
Absolutely.
And it has to do with Xander because Xander is wearing carpenter jeans. And I just wanted Kate's hot take on carpenter jeans.
Okay, this is going to be awful, but how would you define a carpenter jean specifically?
They're the jeans with the... Jenny?
They have like a hammer loop and a ruler pocket.
Yeah, I remember
for measuring.
I remember those existing.
They were a big part of my personal life.
Yeah.
Carpenter jeans.
I remember them existing. End of statement.
So no strong feelings against, no strong feelings for.
Well,
perhaps best not to say.
Best not to say.
I see.
I mean, you said they were a part of your life, so, I don't want to judge you here.
Yeah, I mean,
Live your truth, Kristine.
It was a time for carpenter jeans, and then it was a time for Jenkos, Or maybe it was Jenkos first and then carpenter jeans.
They live in perfect harmony.
I see Reese in the audience nodding. Do you know which came first, Jenkos or carpenter jeans? Jenkos, okay.
Jenkos.
Yeah, Jenkos first, then carpenter jeans, great.
I did also want to call out that Joyce looks excellent in this episode.
Joyce for having a daughter in the hospital is really doing a great job.
Practically glowing.
Joyce looks choice.
Flirting with Giles, just like
right? If there's anything you need.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The first
Okay,
watch
Joyce.
through, I was
Heard
like,
your
wow.
girlfriend died.
What's up? I see you spend a lot of time leaning over the students that I look after.
Also, that's
The lean.
At the hospital before Buffy's mom, and Buffy's mom doesn't say a thing.
She's like, oh, this librarian.
What the fuck?
This librarian just cares about my daughter so much. Come on, Joyce.
That's why we picked this school district.
Yeah.
They're really involved.
This one is also really strange to me because it's sort of a bottle episode and it comes so soon after such dramatic events that it's like, hey, remember this horrible thing just happened, but we're just going to sidestep that for about 40 minutes.
Right.
We'll get back to it. Don't worry.
Although Giles, I did notice, especially on the second watch, that Giles, they really do put a lot in Giles, I think Anthony Stewart Head is the one that does this, but just you can tell that he's grieving through the episode. He runs his hands through his hair way more times than usual.
Yeah,
and
a lot of glasses cleaning.
A lot more glasses cleanings. That was technically the episode that we were up to for A Camp, and we were like, imagine we showed them passion. It's just too real. I want to lift you up with the demon that kills children.
Kills babies?
But nobody here is a baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I like passion, but it is hard to watch as a group.
Yeah. Kate, do you have anything else about this episode that maybe doesn't lie in the fashion realm that you want to talk about?
Very little. I like this one. I think it is definitely not one of the stronger episodes. It's one that I tend to forget about, especially following up one of the best and or most soul-destroying episodes. Oh, I will say very briefly, my thoughts is that, so you all know that I'm in the not, I wouldn't say specifically anti-Xander, but that I do not like Xander. You can call that whatever you want. I guess anti-Xander is very...
anti-Xander feels right.
But with caveats, because I'm not a super aggressive person about those things. But I do like him and Cordelia in this episode because I have said before, the only times that I've really loved Xander are when he's with Cordelia. Like, I think it redeems both of their characters in really interesting ways.
Yeah.
And I love Cordelia. She's so good in this. And it made me pine for because I was watching, some stuff that's later on in the series. And I was like, oh my God, she's so good. She's just so good. And she's so funny. And she adds so much to the cast. But I love it. Like, she comes in and she sets those little Krispy Kremes down. That was so cute. Right? He doesn't deserve her. But but it's so nice. And I mean, I have a thing against the whole, I'm going to use my sexual wiles to get what I want kind of thing, which happens and it makes me cringe. But when it's Cordelia, I don't know, somehow it works because she's so charming.
Yeah, she's using it to overpower Xander, a representative of what, Jenny?
Oh, that would be the patriarchy?
Yes.
Have you heard of it?
I have heard of it.
I'm over it personally.
I'm pretty.
I liked the first season a lot.
It kind of went
But it's
downhill.
really fallen off. Yeah.
I love, and this will sort of be my final statement on the topic. I love your nose. Do you you must work out?
What? But you could see her searching the security guard for, she couldn't tell a lie. Like, she really was like, okay, the nose, that seems structured properly. I can honestly
work with this.
I can work with this.
Because tact.
Right. So Jenny, would you be so kind as to grace Kate live with her jingle?
I'm gonna blush so hard my face might fall off.
I'm just going to do a special A-Camp edition of this jingle. That was our friend Kate. She gave you the Buffy fashion update.
Kate Leth, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank
here
you,
at
everybody.
Camp and on Buffering.
Oh
Kate
my
Leth,
gosh.
everybody.
Thanks, Kate! Yeah, Kate!
Okay, so Jenny,
Kristen.
that was fun. Kate,
That was great. I miss Kate.
I know. Kate,
Do you think we'll ever see her again?
I'm still here. I'm still right here, guys.
Oh.
Let's cut back into the hospital. We already talked about the ridiculous fact that Giles is there and Joyce is like, you care a lot. But we learned some. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. Look at you ready to go.
No, please.
I was just going to say we learned something at the hospital that is very integral to the plot, which is that Buffy is afraid of hospitals.
Right.
Right? Because
Joyce just whips out some exposition from nowhere, and Willow eggs her on appropriately. What? Why? And when? And Joyce is like, well, Buffy is afraid of hospitals because her cousin Cecilia died in the room. She was alone in the room with her when she died, and she was only 8 years old, and that's the entire story. She's been afraid of hospitals ever since. And then Buffy flips out on the gurney.
Oh, yeah. Buffy. Yeah, Buffy.
And is like, vampires! And amazing. Scoobies to the rescue. Oh, she must be delirious. Oh, she doesn't know what she's saying. And then Giles.
Giles is my favorite. Yes, Buffy, we'll get to the vampires later.
Best to play along with their delusions. Great.
Which kind of ties in. I mean, it kind of ties into the bigger theme of the episode too, which is that nobody believes kids. Buffy sort of placed in the flu with the kids situation, and that like kids say things and adults don't believe them. Also, that kids are often in hospitals sitting in the dark with a light on their coloring book, drawing horrific monsters. That whole scene. I know I'm skipping ahead, but like that whole scene was like a lot for me, where he was like his like little head tilted up.
Yeah.
Also, every time that Buffy has been in a hospital, like a child has appeared creepily. We're 2 for 2, right?
Yeah. Remember,
I'm going to use that for the remix of this episode. Hardcore.
Yeah, Buffy wakes up as the clock turns from 2:26 a.m. to 2:27 a.m. and she looks to her door and sees a haunted kid who stares at her forever. And then he walks by, and then a spooky music cue occurs.
It sounds
just
like the Nightmare on Elm Street theme. I know I said I was going to stop, but it does. It sounds like that dun 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 dun. It does. Go back and listen to it.
It's very of the thing. And so then she sees a scary, tall, withered.
I'm just going to wait for you to get there.
Bewigged and behatted and belong-fingered. Creep of a demon walking behind the kid, and he turns his head to make eye contact with Buffy and is like, yeah, that's right, I'm following this kid. And then goes on his way, so Buffy gets up to follow.
That's like a really big personality trait of this demon.
He's like, if he could wink, he would be, but he has eyes full of like weird flower suckers.
Right.
So no winking.
Also, did you mention the fact that Buffy rips her IV out of her arm?
Not yet, because she hasn't woken up.
Oh, I'm so
But
spoiler.
when we watched it the first time, I was like, hey, she had an IV, but she didn't rip it out. That's weird because they love to show people ripping out the IVs, and then when she wakes up and does the exact same thing, she actually takes her IV out, which is like, don't do that.
But like, also, I get it. I just had one in my arm yesterday.
Kristen was like, can I take it out? 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 I think you should wait for the nurse. I think you should wait for the nurse. I think you should wait for the nurse.
And just so you know how much Buffy the Vampire Slayer is in our lives, like in the hospital, she was like, do not, okay, you're not Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Don't rip it out of your arm.
Well, I mean, I think it's good to remind you of that periodically, just to bring you back down in general.
Fine. There's also this amazing little tiny clip where we're like panning down the hallway and we see the security guard for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like this reveal where he's so creepy, but he's also, what's this actor's name?
Willie Garson.
Willie Garson.
Of Sex and the City fame. You may remember him as Carrie's friend.
Yeah.
Stanley.
I like
Stanford.
that one like half-hearted whoop from the audience. If you're
It was Carly.
It was like somebody got excited and then was like, "Oh, maybe I should. I am at a camp." Like, well, can I go to the part?
Please.
Can I go to the part where Angel and Xander face off? Are we there?
Wow. So many people said.
So I mean that we know who won the Sexual Tension Award. Because it was given not by you or myself, Jenny. It was given by this live audience here. Every person, but like all at different times, was like kiss, 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 kiss. Why don't you just kiss? Because Angel brings Xander white roses. It's very romantic.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Do you remember that episode of Planet Earth that we watched with the birds of paradise?
Oh my gosh. Yes,
that's
I
what
do.
this made me think of, because they're sort of like having a pissing contest.
Yeah, I wrote
kind
down
of.
pissing contest and then I crossed it out and wrote kissing contest.
And I sometimes, I would just prefer, why can't men just put up their back feathers and do a strange dance when that's what they mean? Why do they have to like get their faces really close and like threaten each other? You know what I mean?
It's like you said that, but you sounded a little bit into it when you got through it. You know?
I didn't think this all the way through. I like both. I shouldn't have to choose, I guess.
I think that this Sexual Tension Award between Xander and Angel is a great time to bring up the person who could not stop moaning every time, moaning in a horrible way every time Xander hit the screen. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Seattle-based comedian Elle Sanchez to the stage For the at-home listeners, please note that Elle is wearing a bear suit, a complete bear suit. And it's probably keeping you so warm. Those bear suits are so warm.
All these things are facts.
So Elle,
Tell us your thoughts.
Let's start with your thoughts on the episode. Did you have anything that really stuck out to you?
Yeah. Couple things. Okay, I'm like sort of a Buffy novice, and I say that not being sure what the word novice means. But I've heard it. I think I've watched Buffy.
Right.
I mostly watch Buffy for Oz because I like werewolves.
Right.
Hell
And
yeah.
so I have. I just like your little hell yeah. But I did take a. Are we allowed to swear? Why did I ask that? I looked like a real square just now. Are we allowed to
Am
swear?
I allowed to say shit?
I did take a lot of notes. I'm not gonna like just go through them all, but I'm trying. There was something. I'm trying. Some of the notes were how things that stuck out to me. Specifically, I was listening to audience react to a couple things. I like that the reactions were, and I'm surprised less people got excited when you mentioned that actor from Sex. Is it Sex in the City or And the City?
And Sex and the City.
Oh.
It's confusing because
The
it contains
city?
a lot of sex in the
I
city.
thought it was Sex in the City this whole time.
Someone in the audience just let us know that the city is its own character.
Wow.
I like you out there, whoever you are.
Well, so when you mentioned the actor, everyone tried to play it real chill and aloof, like, oh yeah. But when that guy came on screen, I could hear a lot of people going, oh, and people were like, oh, who's that? I don't. Yeah. So the reason I knew that it was Sex in the City because I heard someone say Sex and the city. Oh God, I've been sounding real stupid in conversations for a long time. Okay, I didn't know it was Sex and the City. Okay, so it was that, and then the silk pajamas. Everyone's like, oh, silk pajamas. What's this? When she gets silk pajamas, there was like a reaction from that. That I definitely heard was the last one I couldn't read. It was everyone. I heard people react to the fact that Xander was drinking Surge. Like I heard this like, oh, and then I heard someone go Surge.
That actually happened in our house when we watched it for the first time.
Oh,
Same reaction. I was like, oh my God, is that Jolt or Surge? I used to not be allowed to drink energy drinks. When I was an early teen, I was forbidden from drinking. I was allowed Mountain Dew, but I wasn't allowed anything above that.
Isn't Mountain Dew really intense?
It is. But like Jolt was like 57 times the caffeine of Mountain Dew. It was like you could die if you drank like 3 of them in a row.
But they literally have a Mountain Dew called Code Red. Like that's scary, right? I mean, so do y'all do the Dew? Do y'all do the Dew?
I do not.
Do you do the Dew?
I no longer do the Dew. I used to do the Dew hard.
That's the only way you can do the Dew.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Actually, I came home here at A Camp my home here at camp, and opened the fridge, and there was a bottle of Mountain Dew, and I was like, who's doing the Dew in our apartment? And Marnie, who co-directs A Camp with me, was like embarrassed and was like, who was by the pizza? And I just felt so.
I really hope you opened the fridge and then just shout it out, who's doing the Dew? Who's doing the Dew?
like that commercial for Gelin souls. I'm gelin. Are you gelin?
Oh, that is the worst. That makes me cringe so hard. I hate when he goes gelin like a felon or whatever. Oh, that makes my whole body hurt.
Oh, well, Elle,
I'm gagging now.
You well, that's gagging. I think might be a great transition point for us into your feelings. You have a lot of feelings about Xander, and I would just love to hear about them.
Okay, here's the thing, and I don't know if this divides the room, but it will tell me who I should talk to later anyway. I do not like Xander. Not a fan of Xander whatsoever. And this is for several reasons. One, character, annoying. He is the Chandler of Buffy.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Chandler, what? He's what? The Chandler Ross? No,
that person thinks Chandler rocks.
Oh,
Wow.
Chandler rocks.
Wow.
Oh, I thought you brought up Ross. I'm like, can we not get super depressed? Ross is like a whole other episode.
Jenny, the other day I was doing an episode of Getting in Bed with Kristine, and we were asked what our friends' characters were, and Jenny got so sad all of a sudden, and I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, I think I just realized I'm a Ross.
Oh, that's so Ross of you to do that too. Just bum everyone out and make it about you. He is the Chandler. He has all these horrible quips that he thinks are very funny that he says almost too quickly for you even to understand, which is fine because it's not funny even if you did. And he's got an annoying level of energy. Oh, I did some tallies.
Oh my gosh.
And one of the tallies was how many times Xander annoyed me. It's 23.
Just 23.
It's 23. I also did Xander tries to be funny. That's 16.
Do you think there was overlap? Like, did he get a tally for trying to be funny?
Probably.
And also then annoyed you?
Probably. I'm sorry, that is okay. I have more tallies. Is this worth
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a new segment called L Tallies.
Yes. I have one for Willow looks confused.
Mm-hmm.
That's 9.
Yeah.
And then I gave up on dramatic music changes. I also gave up on this one, but I started it, which was Giles nervously fumbles words, and I just gave up on that. I went to 9.
Yeah.
But then I just stopped because I'm like, that's too much. It's infinity. I also did clothes that I also wore in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Carpenter jeans?
I did. Yes. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I also wore that little leather. I'm not the fashion expert that Kate is. I wore that little leather flower thing that choker. I had one of those, but they were all black flowers. I wore it when I was 16, sophomore year. I think I bought it at Hot Topic. Probably.
You were like Dark Willow.
Yeah. No. Oh yeah. No. I bought it at Claire's. It doesn't matter. Anyway, Claire's Boutique. I'm sorry, I didn't say the full name. Claire's Boutique. Which I don't know if they had one at my mall growing up in Washington State.
Yeah, that's where you get your ears pierced.
Yeah.
Where else but Claire's Boutique? Or unless you're Jenny Owen Youngs and you use an ice cube and a safety pin because you're real tough.
Oh, that is real tough.
Yeah.
Do go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I also had one for people hiding around corners. Which for some reason I had 4 and then scratched out 1 and left it at 3.
They weren't hiding well enough.
Oh, because I wasn't sure if the time that Buffy was eavesdropping was technically the same as the camera panning and then someone's by that door. So if it was the door hiding, that's 3. But if it's just hiding around corners, it's 4.
Elle, but apart from Oz, do you have a favorite character?
I like Willow. I've always and I actually found I think Willow looks real hot in them sweaters. I'm all about those those high uncomfortable sweaters that I also wore by like Union Bay. That would have like the tiniest little V right here, and it would just scratch your neck and give you like a red, which is why. And you wear a t-shirt with it to try to avoid that situation. But didn't help. But yeah, I used to wear those Union Bay sweaters, like navy blue with like some kind of mustard block color with the carpenter jeans.
Yes, of course.
That was the look.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was my look.
Jenny, do you have a jingle for Elle? Did you prepare a jingle for Elle? I know that she didn't, but you know what I mean? I know that she can.
Thank you, Elle, for joining us on this brief discussion of activities on the Hellmouth.
I like that rhyme of Elle and Hell. It was very, very nice, Jenny. Elle Sanchez, thank you for being a part of our podcast.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin. It's just one of the reasons they've earned the skin-safe seal of approval.
They've also earned the Jenny Owen Youngs and Kristen Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny.
I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristen, and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, things are happening, and I am happy.
I have used a million billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used and the under eye cream that I used, because I have used them for a little while and I really like them. And I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Hooray! Hooray! Hooray indeed. All right, Jenny. What do we have to talk about? I would like to talk about Cordelia. Did you know? So we go to Cordelia. Cordelia, this is my favorite moment for Cordelia where there's a couple. First of all, everybody walks into Buffy's hospital room and like Giles has balloons and like Willow's done Buffy's homework and Cordelia gets so upset. Nobody told me to bring a gift. And then Giles has this amazing retort where he's just like, oh, well, it's what people do.
I don't entirely, but you know what I mean? Because like Cordelia is the product of like she has like a structure.
Yeah, she seems to know etiquette.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she just forgot and she felt embarrassed. But also probably not because Cordelia never feels embarrassed. She was just mad. But then my real top Cordelia moment is when they go out, because Cordelia and Giles have like a whole situation in this episode. And they go out to like the hospital courtyard wheeling Buffy. Sidebar story, once I had an appendectomy and I smoked cigarettes at the time. And I was also like 21 at the time. And I was so upset that I couldn't have a cigarette that I convinced my friend to sneak me out in a wheelchair so I could smoke. I had surgery like, I don't know, 8 hours earlier. And I had him like wheel me out and I smoked a cigarette and then I like hopped back in my, like literally only a thing you would do, I think, at like 18, 19, 21. Yeah. Not 20. 20, you wouldn't do it at 20. But yeah, and then I had to stay in the hospital for 4 extra days because I smoked a cigarette right after having anesthesia. Anyway. My point was, as the longer this episode goes on, you'll see how many times I have been in the hospital. So Cordelia and the gang are out there, and Cordelia like immediately is like, I know what Buffy's doing. She's just trying to like turn this illness into a demon so she can fight it and kill it. And like, we all see through your shit, Buffy, blah. And everybody's like, gasp. And then Giles is like, you know, Cordelia, it's called tact. I don't know exactly what he says, but he's like, you should really have tact. And then Cordelia says, tact is just not saying true stuff. I'll pass. And that, my friends, is why I love Cordelia.
I really appreciate that Cordelia is the first person to name it, and everyone's like, oh, could it be this? Could it be that? And then Cordelia is just like, or could it be that you're just creating something, manifestation, like because you're afraid of hospitals, but you can't fight that because it's intangible, so maybe you're just making this up so you have something to fight?
It's her way. Didn't she just do something like that in the last episode? She was like, I don't understand why he just crawls through your window and draws you in charcoal. Why doesn't he just kill you? And everybody was like, Cordelia, stop it.
He's setting the mood.
But then, sorry, can I take this as my Cordelia tangent here? Because I have more. I have more Cordelia. Cordelia then is in, so then we see the Carpenter genes, because then they go, you know, Xander and Cordelia are like on the mission to get the files. And so they walk into the room and then in comes the big burly security guard to stop things. And Cordelia then uses her wiles to distract him. And I thought this was actually where I was going to call out the patriarchy the first time, because I just thought this whole exchange was great, especially where the security guard is like, I'm all the time restraining people.
That's how I'd be saying it too if it were true.
Yeah, right? I'm all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely not like the lady death protection.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I felt Cordelia was using the patriarchy to her advantage in this situation. Those are my academic notes.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Speaking of like academics,
yes.
And
would you like to talk about Judith Butler now?
Feminism and stuff. Well, no, I just feel like that might be like a good point at which to bring up.
I'm sorry. I just was chuckling to myself that like I used my one chance to say a Judith Butler joke to an audience.
Never again.
I was like, gotta get it in now. Do it. Good. Okay. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Jen?
Well, I was gonna say maybe now would be a good time to bring up our next guest.
Oh. Yes.
Am I alarming you?
No.
Shocking
that's
you?
fantastic.
Taking initiative?
I love when you take initiative. Who is our next guest, Jenny?
Our next guest is a senior editor at autostraddle.com.
This is true.
And one of my personal heroes.
Also a Hufflepuff like myself. Heather Hogan. Heather Hogan! Oh, Heather Hogan.
Thank God you're here.
Thank God you're here.
Hello.
This is a dream. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
What a delight.
No one's ever introduced me as an academic before. I was like, is there a fifth guest? But I don't know what to bring up.
Heather, since this is your first time on the show, I would love to hear
Yes.
about your relationship to Buffy.
Okay, so I am I'm scared of everything.
Same.
No. So like I'm scared of things that I shouldn't be scared of. Like for example, vampires, werewolves. There's a tunnel at camp that goes from one side of the camp to the other. It goes under the road. There are like children's drawings on the inside. I have yet to make myself go through the tunnel.
Oh my God. If somebody could go to the tunnel before camp is over and draw the Der Kinderstadt inside of the tunnel, I would be really thrilled. Is that a volunteer?
Thank you.
Great. Oh my God, Isabella. Great. I couldn't have thought of a better candidate.
Well, now I'm certainly never going to do this. If we have camp here for 50 more years. So anyway, but I'm not scared of things that I should be scared of, like home intruders, or like I live in New York, I'm not scared of cars, like these things I should be scared of. But when I was a little kid, vampires were like my number one favorite, like the scariest thing to me. And here's why. When I was in the 3rd grade, on Halloween, I was like super psyched. It was like free candy night. So my sister and I are like going to the bus. There's some streamers hanging down. We pull the streamers back. We walk onto the bus, and like Dracula is there, like driving our bus. So I flipped out, and I jumped off the bus, and I was like running back across the street. And the whole time I was yelling to my sister, her name's Jennifer, like, Jennifer, get off, it's a trick, it's a trick, it's a Dracula. So she didn't get off the bus, and I went back into the house, and I shut the door, and I fell against it, and I was like, my parents came in, and I was crying, and they were like, what happened? And we lost Jennifer. We lost her. But the problem is that like my house is the last stop before we get to school, so the bus was already full of kids who saw me like run across. Like he was already like a weird kid. I didn't really have very many friends. Anyway, so like in addition to being afraid of vampires and then like completely socially traumatized at this young age, I just never watched Buffy. Mm-hmm. And then as an adult when I came out, I realized like girls are not going to make out with you if you haven't seen Buffy.
Some won't marry you unless
right.
Accurate.
So I went through this thing where I multiple times I tried to watch the show, and I didn't like the girl I was dating enough to get past this episode that we're on right now.
This one?
Yes.
Wow. This very one?
This very episode.
Wow.
I've been trying to figure out for like weeks what episode was going to be at camp, because I can handle the emotional trauma, but like this Freddy Krueger bullshit is no good for me. So anyway, my partner now, we've been together 6 years, and she like is the one who I was like, I really want to be with her. I'm gonna have to power through this Freddy Krueger thing, and I did.
Aww.
Yeah,
it's like a Buffy,
beautiful love story.
But Der Kinderstadt love story.
Yeah, but also I'm still really scared. I didn't even come over to watch. We screened before, right? I didn't come over to watch it because I didn't want to see it again. But then on the other side of camp, there's nobody over there right now. So I was thinking about the episode, and I came out of my cabin, and I was like, oh no. So anyway,
but you did not get picked off by the camp, der Kindercampstad.
No, I did not, because I think that the kinder camp is in the tunnel now.
Yeah.
So, I'm all right.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I just want to say that like I feel that you're not getting on the bus, like maybe you got teased for it, but I just personally think that it's a really great survival instinct.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Fine, maybe they were fine that time, but like somewhere there was a bus where Dracula was driving to like be funny for the kids for Halloween.
Right.
And then they all died.
I feel so much better now.
Statistically speaking, it's had to have happened once. The real Dracula has had to play that prank once. He kills the like teacher that's dressed as Dracula, and then he gets in. He's like, wah, That's the Count, I think, from Sesame Street. But you know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow.
So is it the demon that scares you the most? That's
Yeah. Like that. This to me is the second scariest episode of Buffy, but also I think it's a very underrated episode of Buffy. I think it's very, I know it's controversial. People think it's like, it's thrown in there for no reason, but I think it's really, I think we learned so much about Cordelia and Buffy both in this episode, and we learned so much about both of their characters, and they both grow in these fascinating ways that like come to play later in the series. And I loved the thing that you just said where Cordelia is like, could this possibly be that you have some childhood trauma and you're manifesting a fake demon because you want to save us because you can't save yourself? And I'm like, yes, Cordelia, that is what I'm doing. That is why I can't go through the murder tunnel, Cordelia. I'm like, thank you.
Cordelia really saying some real things.
Yeah,
She really does.
Oh, so we're not just learning about Cordelia and Buffy in this episode, but we're also learning about Heather.
Yeah, we are. I have definitely
Great,
made
great,
this
great.
all about myself. Thank you.
So you then made it through this episode for The Girl That You Love.
I did.
And then you watched the rest of the series. So have you just seen the series one time through?
Yes,
just
I
like
have.
me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Hufflepuff's one-time watch. Well, now I'm on 2, but you know.
Right, yeah.
I just appreciate you, Heather Hogan.
And I appreciate you, Kristen. Oh.
Wow.
The fuck?
This is how a loving relationship works.
It's just like, like you're like a true Hufflepuff. Like you work really hard, then you go to the hospital, you come back, you work really hard.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I did it all for Buffy.
I know.
I like that when Elle was up here, it was a roast. It was a full roast. And now that Heather is up here, it's like, I would like to tell you all the nice things about yourself, It's just great. Do you have a favorite character, Heather?
Yes, my favorite character is Willow.
Sure.
Yes. For the reasons of innocence and computer knowledge, or for what brings you to
I just
Willow?
think Willow is just super brave. I'm always into the sidekick who doesn't have the powers, but like sticks it out anyway. And I think Willow goes through so many of the same things Buffy goes through. And I think this show's like so great at dealing with like depression with its characters. And I think they go through these things, and Willow overcomes them with her brain and her. Then her. I can't spoil it.
And
for
her.
you. Yeah, right.
Right. This is a live episode. We like to spoil something huge at every.
right. But for
for-
now, like Willow commits all in without ever thinking that she's going to have the power to do anything other than just like what her brain will and like her skills and loyalty will allow her to do. And I really think that's super brave.
Do you know what happened in this episode? I don't know how far everybody is caught up to our podcast, but something important happened in this episode, which is there was some hell math. Did you note the hell math? No, what?
We have a segment, a very new segment, and it's very brief. It's just anytime anybody's doing math on the Hellmouth, it's hell math. And you may remember Dr. Backer in his office after he's been implicated, after we've been given the red herring of like, oh, Dr. Backer, that guy's up to no good. Then we see him in his like office in the middle of the night, furiously looking at a spreadsheet and adding numbers and subtracting numbers with his mouth, but no noise, and flinging open the door of his mini fridge where he keeps all the viruses in his office. And it's like, here we go, I've got this.
I opened every mini fridge at the Madison emergency room. No viruses. Zero viruses.
Well, not where we could find them anyway.
That's true.
So he does that hell math, and then he takes the syringe of the stuff into the children's ward. And here's a tip for any of you who are maybe in med school. I just feel like if you're going to be the edgy doctor who doesn't play by the rules but really wants to save the kids but might get implicated if there's another person doing bad stuff to kids, maybe like do that like vile stuff like during the day or like the early evening even, maybe just not the middle of the night, and like not like mumbling numbers to yourself at the same time. Like just like be cool, just like look like you're supposed to be doing it, and then maybe it won't be like super creepy.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, no, I
reasonable?
mean, little did I know that Jenny had so many passionate feelings.
I've been thinking about Dr. Backer a lot. Just feel like he was a good guy who got caught up in the wrong crowd of their Kinderstads. That's all.
Willow does some hell math, like some quick hell math in this episode.
Right, with the dilution? Is that what you mean?
It's 100%. That's 100%.
Yeah.
Just she eyeballs it. She's
two
like,
drops.
That looks pure.
Two drops pure virus to 1 splash water equals fever. Hell math. Yes. Yeah.
This perfectly safe.
Also, I wrote a note down for that moment. I wrote, Buffy takes a flu shot. Wow. Some people like are going along with it. Gabby and Elle were like, oh my God. It's like, you like that chili pepper joke, I'm just trying to get in your favor. I'll work harder.
Can we talk about one more thing having to do with the Kinderstad?
Yeah, I don't ask Heather Hogan.
Do you mind?
Yeah, no, let's go for it.
Okay.
We were like,
I feel so safe
Heather,
right
you
here
hate
beside
your least favorite thing in the episode was the demon. Why don't we talk about it while you're up
No,
here?
I feel safe with you.
Okay. Aww.
Let's go. Oh boy.
I just want to say that when Buffy sees the Kinderstad through the door that's locked that has a window, and he like makes eye contact with her, and then he like doffs his and then maybe like goes through the basement door and then does like a little soft shoe number that like we didn't get to see. Like, what is this demon's backstory? Like, is there more, and does it involve jazz?
Yeah, or possibly vaudeville.
Or vaudeville,
right?
yeah.
For sure. Also, just on that note, like of things that I didn't understand why when the Der Kinderstadt was over the kids, that suddenly their from their hand to their elbow worked. Like he didn't have his hands on their shoulders, and yet like both of them did the same like T-Rex kind of a thing that I just didn't understand.
Maybe that's just part of the Kinderstad's power.
Perhaps.
It immobilizes your upper arms.
Heather Hogan, is there anything else about this episode that you would like to talk about with us? You are a acclaimed pop culture television writer. And you've already given us some really, great analyses of this episode. But is there anything else you would like to add before Jenny makes a jingle on the spot for you?
Oh no, you don't have to do that.
No, she's doing it.
I insist.
I think this is a really good episode for Cordelia because I think it shows. There are multiple times where it shows how much she cares and does want to fit in, but is also still afraid of not being able to fit in. So she uses her little prickly defenses.
Right?
Yeah, we learned so much about Cordelia and Buffy in this episode, even though it's,
Yeah, Cordelia's thing is kind of always like, why do you make me do this? When like no one's making her do it at all.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad you brought up Cordelia again.
Yeah, truly my pleasure.
Because I realized I forgot to talk about the scene with Giles when Cordelia and Giles are in the library.
Yeah.
What does this one do?
Right. And you kind of get the sense like Giles would be more patient about it if there was, there wasn't a monster destroying the children at the hospital at the time.
Right.
Yeah. That's a super great scene because she really does want to know. And even though she's doing it in a kind of funny, whatever way, like she really does care.
Yeah,
and
she
really
does.
does
She's on the phone. It's Der Kinderstadt.
Yeah.
But I said it. I told you what the demon was. No, but listen to me.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wow. Cordelia.
I already liked you, but now that you may let me talk about Cordelia more.
Absolutely.
Through
Anytime.
the roof.
When you find me asleep on the floor of your bedroom tonight, you wake up and I'm there. I'll be like, do you want to talk about Cordelia some more?
Our room is safe. It's Der Kinderstadt proof.
Good.
Proofed.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
We did that curse they did for Angel, but just for Der Kinderstadt to keep it out.
Good.
All right, Jenny, would you like to impromptu?
I'm ready.
She's so patient with me that I'm like, I didn't tell you before the show, but during the show live, I'm going to make you do a jingle for every person.
You know what is a really impressive thing about you, Jenny? You don't trip over these. Like, I watch you dance around these chords and you never fall down.
That was like a good compliment, but also in my mind, that works like a movie. I'm like, well, there it goes. That was the last line. The next scene is just like her crashing off through everything on stage.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna die now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Heather Hogan, thanks for talking to us. You're my second favorite Hufflepuff.
Heather Hogan. Oh. Wow. Well,
Great.
I want to make sure that there's a couple of things I want to make sure we get to before we end this episode. One being that I need to give a shout out. If you listen to the podcast, you know that I love a good horror scream, and Celia
Crushing it!
knocks it out of the fucking park. I don't know that I've heard a young child horror scream better than Celia's. I don't have a lot of data there, but yeah, I couldn't go through without giving her shout out where shout out was due. Also, we talked about Willow a little bit, but can we just talk for a moment about Willow's? Buffy and Willow are running through the hallway. They need to get to the basement. And Buffy looks at Willow and she's like, okay, you're a Scooby. Figure it the fuck out. how?
Yeah.
How am I going to get to the basement? And Willow was like, okay, frogs. And she's amazing. She's so afraid of the invisible. Oh, she tricks everybody. And
Well,
then
I think it's really convincing because we've already established earlier in the series that Willow has very real frog fear.
yes. Yeah.
So that's what she's channeling. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not just like...
I'm proud of Willow.
No, it's amazing.
And then immediately is like, no more frogs. Also, we talked about the monster at length, but I just, like, one of my notes is all caps, the eyes, no, the eyes. This upset me almost as much as bad eggs, the bug, the fucking thing that fucking crawls across the no thank you. Because it's the same like texture. It's probably the same material. They just like repurposed it for the demon's eyes.
Yeah,
they were like,
yeah,
we got
yeah.
that sticky shit in like
Yeah,
Studio
yeah.
A. Go grab that. But his eyes.
My note is De Kinderstad gets Ryan and then does the grossest thing I've ever seen on TV. This is actually the point, because I was watching this series in real time while it was on the air. This was the episode that I saw where I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And I became like a more sporadic viewer.
Just like Heather Hogan.
Just like Heather Hogan.
Wow, I wonder how many people like just couldn't.
It's the worst thing.
It's really bad. It's really bad. But
It comes out of his eyes, but it's like a protuberance with like petals or something. It's just terrible.
The name of your forthcoming album, Protuberance with Petals.
That will follow gross emotional stuff.
Yeah, no, he's
And clotterings and crumpled sheets from previous episodes.
also now I'm jumping back a tick, but also remember a couple of let's just go to the coloring corner for a second. Because the kid in the dark draws the fucking monster and it's terrifying. But it's great because now Isabella Rotman can use that as inspiration for the camp tunnel. But also then later Giles thinks that Buffy did a rendering of the monster.
Is this your work? Is this your work?
Yeah. Right? Is what's going on. And then
He like kind of sounds like impressed, but also like he's trying to be polite at the same time.
Right.
Like I didn't know you had
like you're sick,
you worked
you're in
with
the
Kristine.
hospital. Right. I don't wanna like kick you while you're down. Right. And then at the end, the loop of the coloring saga is when she gets I'm sorry, is there a noise from off stage?
Oh, what's happening?
Oh God. Oh God.
What is this?
God, I
Security?
forgot. Yeah, where's camp security?
I was gonna send it in the mail, but then I thought I'd just bring it here. That I drew you a picture. Yeah.
Wow, Gaby Dunn just got on the mic.
I drew you a picture.
Is this is a picture of? Okay, it says "Wow" on the top of it, and
so
then
you know it's you.
Okay, and then is this somebody with an oar, like a canoeing oar?
No, that's Jenny with a guitar. But whatever. And then,
Jenny with a guitar.
That's you wearing a hat.
Okay. Oh my, this hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's their Kinderstock, and you killed him. And you're holding a knife, and it's bleeding, and then there's blood everywhere.
Wow. So is this like a knife killing, a guitar killing, or like a combination?
Both. You used what you guys had.
Yeah, right. I played some jazz music, and he
played-
couldn't help but soft shoe and get distracted.
Yeah, you played some music, and he was like, "What?" And then Kristen stabbed him.
Beautiful.
I like my role in this.
You're both smiling. He's got X's.
It just looks like a stick figure in a top hat to me.
Yeah, it's the Babadook.
Yes, definitely.
It does look a lot like the Babadook.
This is either titled Kristen and Jenny Slay Der Kinderstadt or Kristen and Jenny Slay the Babadook.
The Babadook.
Yes.
So I just thought, obviously you guys asked if I would come to the podcast, and like,
No.
why would you ask me to come? But like, why would you ask me to attend the podcast if I wasn't on it? 'Cause,
Right.
like, that doesn't make sense.
Right. No,
Like,
that's
why
of
would I
course.
like go to see this if I'm not going to like be
No reason.
the
Yeah.
closer and the headliner?
I mean, what I want to let you
like,
know.
I don't go places where I'm not. Do you guys get it?
I do. I get it. And I'm glad that we have the kind of relationship where you understand what I mean.
Yeah,
you
of
know.
course.
Like when I say, Gabby,
You were like, Jenny and I are taping the podcast live, and I was like, great, I'll be there at 4.
Right. I was like, Gabby, we're taping this podcast. I mean, we would have had you as a guest, but you keep coming up. We feel like maybe.
Yeah, so this is now, for those of you who are, maybe this is the first episode that you're listening to. I'm usually the co-host. I've been in every episode.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not true. Kate Leth pissed in the audience.
Well, throw down. The last time that they did a live taping, what happened was a beautiful miscommunication wherein Kristine invited me to the Meltdown to see the live taping, but what I read from her text was be in the show.
No.
I
Kristine
didn't.
asked you to be in the show, and you were like,
You were like, I'm a millennial, whatever. And I was like, I don't know, maybe she doesn't want to do it. And then you were just coming, and then like the day of the show, you were like, so I'm on the show, right? And I was like, yes. And then you were like,
more like I showed up at 7 and was like, when are we doing this?
Yeah.
But anyway, so now I just feel like I have like an open invitation. Like I'll probably just like come to your house at some point and be like, what are you guys doing? You taping the show?
You just have your face against Jenny's office window waiting.
Me and that cat.
You and Patrol Cat.
Yeah, Patrol Cat.
Oh my God, are you Patrol Cat?
Yeah, it's like a McGonagall situation. But like, if I told you that I was actually Patrol Cat, like that kind of makes sense, right?
I mean,
you have similar coloring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
welcome.
Well, yeah, so I drew you this. So I didn't want you to say the joke of the kid sending her a creepy thing in the mail and then cut to black without me also doing my joke first.
Right.
You see how it would not have been as funny?
A theme. Also, I don't know why I keep feeling like I have to show you again.
Because it's so beautiful.
It's so great. Yeah, I don't want anybody. We'll pass it around after that.
Yeah.
Here's a lingering question. How did Ryan get Buffy's mailing address?
That's very creepy.
Yeah.
I think the twist is that Ryan is the villain this whole time. Because also, is he like 8? How old is he?
Yeah, probably
Why
8.
Communicate in full sentences?
Yeah.
Don't do weird shit like I saw death or like whatever. Like you're in like the 3rd grade. Like just tell her what's going on.
He has like a weird like small banker vibe about him. Like
he's like they like couldn't get Haley Joel Osment and they were like this kid. So anyway, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Also, I've got like things to do and places to be.
Sure. Right, of course.
I'm like real busy and stuff.
But now that you're here, that means that something has to happen because I've declared it so.
Oh, do I get a jingle?
You get a jingle.
I imagine Jenny wrote this like when she met me.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
She met me and she was like, I'm inspired.
Yeah, she met you and like just went to her office for like weeks and I was like, what are you doing?
And then she came out and it was like Sgt. Pepper.
Yeah.
She had written Sgt. Pepper.
Yes.
She's got vampires that she ought to be concerned with. Last night she's called an epitaph, a blurb that's on your gravestone. She's Gaby Dunn. This didn't rhyme great, sorry.
Wow.
That was an allusion to my podcast, Bad with Money. Please download it. It's on season 2. We got a lot of episodes. Thanks, Kate.
Wow, Gabby. Bye. I miss you already. Oh my God, are you gonna jump off that? Wow. Incredible. I just went to look at my notes and it was a drawing of us killing.
That was the Gaby Dunnest Gaby Dunn appearance.
Yeah,
of all time.
It keeps building on itself, truly.
It's sort of this like weird, like Ouroboros of meta-ness, just kind of like expanding outwards forever.
Oh, wow.
You know when you're in a bathroom in like a nice banquet hall or something?
What?
I just have a really specific memory of this. It happens in other places,
like
but
at
the
a
first
wedding?
time I like really noticed. Yeah, like at a wedding.
Okay.
You go into like the thing that's in between, like the room that is before the bathroom.
Oh,
but it's
right.
But it's
where the mints,
it's like,
where the mints are.
Right, and you like, there's like mirrors, and you're like, weird. Why can I see myself from the? And you realize that there are mirrors. There's a mirror on the other side, and they're reflecting you back in infinity. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're all with you.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
I do.
When there's a mirror in front of you and a mirror in back, and there's like a gajillion yous forever. I feel like that's Gaby Dunn's sort of vibe. Gaby Dunn everywhere.
Very, very, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It really ended with a bang. So Jenny,
Kristine,
how are you doing? I've had a wonderful time.
Did we do a good job?
I think we did. I don't know. We'll find out later when.
I forgot we're in the land of like automatic validation.
We gave out our sexual tension award. We said the patriarchy a bunch.
Oh yeah, played a lot of jingles.
Played a lot of jingles. I think I hit every single one of my notes, or nearly every one. The only thing I didn't talk about was the amazing like Rocky Horror Picture Show back and forth about the playing doctor exchange. That was the only thing I missed. Where like Xander's like, she didn't know what playing doctor was, and Willow was like, what do you mean? Why did you play doctor? And Buffy's like, I didn't play doctor. And then Cordelia was like, and Giles was like, gotta go. You know, it was just really nice. I liked it.
That was pretty good.
That was the only one I had left. Did you have anything left to say about this fine episode, this fine creation of television?
I think that we've touched on everything that I care deeply about.
Great.
Yeah, I feel good.
Well, the thing that I want more than anything is for all of our guests to come. Here's what's going to happen. Gabby's already up.
Guests? You mean invited people? Yeah. That's me.
What's going to happen is that we're going to wolf howl out all together as a team.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here live, and thanks for listening. Till next time.
Oh, that was beautiful.
You can follow Buffering the Vampire Slayer on Twitter and Facebook at BufferingCast, and you can drop us an email anytime at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com. There's a demon that's ephemeral down at Sunnydale General in the East Side Children's Wing. He's a creepy motherfucker whose eyes are made of suckers, and he's hungry for children. He's got those long ghost fingers, yeah, with a jaunty hat atop his head. His underbite goes on for miles, but his kryptonite is in these virus vials. Deck in to start, I'm gonna deck in to stop you. I'm gonna deck in to stop you. Giles and Cordelia helped me realize that Celia didn't die of a natural cause. Xander's standing sentry and barring Angel's entry. Willow's acting like she's covered in frogs. Backer never stood a chance in that twisted Kruger dance. But I won't fall for that same trap. Instead, I'll give his neck a snap. Deck in to start, I'm gonna deck in to stop you. Deck in to start, I'm gonna deck in to stop you. I'm gonna deck in to stop you. Gonna deck in to stop you. I'm gonna deck in to stop you.
Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talked to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Ewan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
People will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.